Hey there, my DIY friends. Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a confession to make. Behind every successful DIY project lies a story, and mine is no exception. You see, I've always wanted to present my projects as meticulously planned, flawlessly executed endeavors that anyone can learn from. Well, I think anyone can learn from them, but not really in the way that you think. In this video, I'm peeling back the curtain and showing the raw truth about one of my recent projects, a tile project. It's not smooth sailing, it's not expertly executed venture you might expect. Instead, it's a roller coaster ride of emergencies, poor planning, and my extremely limited expertise. So if you've ever found yourself knee-deep in a DIY disaster or just want a good laugh at someone else's expense, you're in for a treat. Who knows, maybe you'll learn a thing or two about what not to do or some ways to do it that you would have probably not thought of. So let's get started.
What are you going to do it like?
First we got to take the grout out. Kind of a Marshalltown grout remover from Lowe's. So I guess we'll do elbow grease. We could have used. All right, I got one of these sides down, Betty.
I'll get one up and you'll be able to take the other one.
2, 3, 4. We got about half a dozen or 8 pieces or parts of tiles that gonna have to come out of here in order to basically glue them back down.
In the dining area?
Yeah, maybe. I'm just showing what we got going on here. Well, it looks like we busted through on this top one. We scratched a seam all the way around this thing. I hooked my chisel under here. I'm gonna try to undo this.
Look at that.
Got it busting.
Oh my word.
Let's see why it came loose.
Because it never had any thing set on it. Look at this.
It's not glued very well. I'm gonna have to figure out.
Oh my gosh.
That's gotta be broke. That's gotta be, somehow I gotta get that off there. I don't know. You gotta take that off.
Well, I don't know how you plan on doing that unless you got a grinder without busting the tile.
Yeah. Well, that's a that's an option too. Look at that gap. Holy Toledo. It's hard to tell from the video, but that's about 3/4 of an inch at least, I'm gonna guess. My finger fits under it pretty easily. Ugh, not good. Got that a little easier now, don't you? Kind of falling off. Yes, it's coming out. Careful, I'm gonna bust it loose.
There it went. Take a little bit and do like this. Both hands on it.
Like that, you mean?
Yeah, there it comes. Yeehaw!
Oh my. Wonder why they put grout next to the cabinet. I guess, wonder if you're supposed to do that. I guess you are.
Okay.
To the tile, it's not, for whatever reason, it's not attached very well to the cement, to the, to our slab. I don't understand. Grinding. The Marshalltown or Marshmallow Town remover of whatever this stuff is. Grout remover or grout salt. Ugh. Let's see if that has a totally different sound. Yeah, there's a little bit of something in there. Yeah, you can see the gap in that is huge. A little bit of something to eat, a cup of coffee, and we're back. Well, this thing's bowed up. Yeah, this one's coming out pretty easy. I'm not even going to grind it doesn't it look like. I think I can get by. I think this one, yeah, that one, and this one maybe. Golly, that one's come out. Oh my goodness, that's well, I'm not sure about this. No way, no. Oh boy. I don't know anything about this, but I'll bet it's not supposed to be that easy to get out. Well, this may be a problem. Guess we'll find out in a second. There's even a different sound about it. Moment of truth. I'd like to reuse these. But, baby, break loose. Break loose, I mean the glue, of course, not the tile. Come on, baby, you know you can do it. Oh, hello there, darling. Yes. That's all it was holding that on, that little puny thing. Wait, babe. It's like it never ends. Well, here's the next part of this thing. I guess I need to scrape the back, the thin set off the back of these tiles to see if it's going to, if I can reuse them. I'd like to reuse them, especially the ones that are already cut, but I guess we'll see if I have any luck. I'd heard a couple of different ways to do this, muriatic acid or bath. I'm not too crazy about that idea. And then this the brute force way, so let's see if the brute force way is going to work. Let's take a look. What's going on here? I was about to sing the praises of just using a wood chisel to chisel some of this off, and it busted. This is not good. We'll be more careful, I guess, going forward. Shucks. Okay then. Well, now that I busted the first one, I'm going to try to be a little bit more careful. I have some tiles, some hole tiles, but I don't have a tile saw, so I'm trying to be really careful with these that are already cut, like this one, and see what kind of success I can have removing this with a grinder, not beating on it with a chisel as much this time, and see how that works out. Wish me luck. Well, I'm on to another piece. I've got one soaking in a bucket over there, and I've got another piece here. This grinding off stuff, it's for the birds, but I'm afraid that if I chisel it off with any of these other tools, I'm going to bust it. So anyway, we'll continue to toil and not having any fun. You can see that I've been able to grind off about half of it. Well, I keep going through batteries on the grinder like there's no tomorrow. So we're going old school. Plug in, drill, and the roughest thing I could find. Well, yes, I am still working on this first piece. I've been at it for a couple of hours. I had been grinding it off, and it's doing a pretty good job. It's just taking forever. And I had observed that my cutting piece was for metal and not either concrete or something of that nature. But anyway, I went and got another cutting blade or wheel for this thing, and we'll see if this does better, because the other thing was way inefficient. Well, let's just find out. Well, I am happy to report that the new cutting wheel makes a significant difference. Alright, here's a second tile. It's cut around a cabinet. I want to be real careful with it. I stuck it in a bucket thinking maybe mortar got wet, or thin set, or whatever it's called was wet. It might come off easier. And I've about decided that maybe the key to this thing is using the right tool. So, well, as you can see, we're out here for a second day. I think since I discovered that I had been using the wrong grinding wheel on this angle grinder, I think things may, in terms of getting the thin set off the back of it, it may have improved. I just about got this one finished. I had one other that I'd finished, and then this, last night I ran out of juice, so I put it up, and I've got 2 or 3 pieces to do, and then luckily I've got some new ones I can stuff into the floor, so I'm not going to grind everything off that I pulled out. So I'm going to fix this. Well, as you can see, I got all the thin set, all that adhesive off the back of it. Mention one more time, the reason I'm grinding these off, this one and these, they don't have a tile cutter. Probably get one, but anyway, it's my project. I don't have a tile cutter right now, and I'm gonna fix these to relay them just because they're already cut to the size that fits in my kitchen. So I thought I'd mention that again, and I had intended, I guess, to do all of them that I pulled out, but there's another half a dozen tiles that are complete, and this exercise has convinced me that I'll just put the new ones in. I've got some new ones that came with the house, and I may grind the other ones off eventually, but if I don't get that floor laid pretty soon, my wife's gonna shoot me. See, most of the oddball pieces that had to be cut, and this is all of them, I think, I have been pretty successful scraping the mortar thin set off the back of them with a grinder. A divot right there, and then I've got some stuff, some old thin set that needs to be scraped down. Alright, I know there's probably a better way to do this, but I've got a Dremel tool, and I'm trying to clean this grout off of here, and I'm really afraid to beat on it with anything. I guess what I'm gonna do is grind it off this thing like a dentist. I took one of these and I've scraped it, and as soon as I get this grout off of this thing, we'll lay out the tile and see what we got. One side is looking good. That's the Dremel. Right on there and let it set. Alright, here's the space we have, and we're going to place these down here dry just to see and make sure everything fits. Well, this is what it looks like now that I've got it placed down there in the dry, just to make sure it'll all fit. Well, we're making a little progress. All right. 3 or 4 more to go. Well, I don't know if this is right or not, but
Thank you, sweet Jesus, you're done.
thank you, it's finished. And give it a couple of days and then we'll grind it. All right, that was fun, sort of. Guess we'll find out. It came off easier. Wiped it off several times. I'm afraid my grout's a little thin, but maybe not. I understand you blop it on here and then squish it down into the seam. And there's lots of wiping off that has to be done afterwards. So let's just see how this is going to work. I've wiped it down a time or two and took a lot more grout than I thought it would. Yeah, we're making progress. We're getting closer. Well, this is probably not the right way to do this, but this is the way I'm gonna do it. Edge this, there's a little gap. However, I gotta fill this in. I'm putting this in by hand and then smoothing it out with my finger. Can't see this anyway, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I put, as you can see, I put some painter's tape in there so that in a minute, when it dries a little bit, I can just peel that painter's tape out of there. And hopefully I won't have as big a mess. I hadn't done that earlier and it was just awful. It'll be finished and I'll have to go back in and clean up the grouting on the few tiles that we put in here because my grout's way wider and way messier than the grouting that was done previously by whoever laid the floor initially. You can see there's a little bit here. It's too low. But I laid that in there before and then made a huge mess on the underside of this cabinet. And fill it in and call it a day. Well, we've gotten into the last part of this project. As you can see, the grout in the corner down here is way cleaner. My wife has actually been painting the grout, or dyeing it or something. Whatever this product is, Grout Refresh. You can see that the grout that's been there for probably decades is darker, and it may have been darker to begin with. The new grout looks pretty good. If we go back over here to the part that I replaced, you can see that the grout lines aren't too good, overweight. So I'm gonna try to clean these grout lines up so that they kind of match the old grout. And the tiles seem to be holding pretty well. So we'll see if I can't carve some of this out and clean up these lines so that they don't look so fat. Well, I'm down here with a straight razor, trying to clean up this grout a little bit. Some places way too fat, and it's high, and it's funky. And I'm afraid to get after it with anything too violent or aggressive, so I'm down here with a straight razor, continuing to try to do it the hard way. I just want the grout lines to be straight. I just want them to look right. There's probably an easier way or more efficient way to do this, but I've got some time to kill, I guess, so I'm going to do it this way. It actually looks better if you don't look too close.
4 to 6 weeks later.